All right, I'm going to show you how to draw the figure. You have to make 8 pieces. So this is a square. This is halfway in the square. And then we're going to make it in half again. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And we got to make 8 pieces. So let's just divide these in half again. And what you got here is there's our halfway marker. And that's where our pelvis goes. And then in the center, that's where your crotch is. Then the next two, that's where your rib cage goes. And then up above it, that's where your head goes. And then halfway down, from here to here, that's where your knees are. So 1, 2, there's halfway. So that's where your knees are going to go. And then the next half is where the lower part of your legs go. And you just do this sort of V shape to do the feet. And then right up here at the top of the rib cage, we're putting 2 circles. That's your shoulders. Right here where the crotch is, the halfway, that's where your wrists are going to be. So put our wrists right there, and we just put our hands right here. So I've made a really quick little figure. Now I'm going to do a side view and do it a little cleaner, but everything's in parallel lines. So now if I do the pelvis, which is this, and then we're doing the rib cage, which is those next 2 lines, and then we're going to do the head, which is up here. And now our shoulders are right here because they're in the same parallel. I'm going to put the arm a little further back so it's out of the way. And then our wrists are here. And then saying, okay, right here's where our knees are. When you do this, they're 2 equal parts. But the next one, instead of drawing it straight down like this where it'll look funny, what you want to do is just offset it a little bit. Make it a little back. Because usually your calves stick out and the knees above that leg. And then we're going to just put our foot here. So essentially, what I just did is I made a side view of our person. So there's a front view, there's a side view. If I was to take this whole leg and make it one solid piece, and the idea is I'm going to move it up at an angle. So what I'm doing is there is a piece of string attached from here to here, and then I was to rotate this piece of string, it would end up there, which is 1, 2 blocks. So there it is, it's up there, and this piece is the same length as this piece. So I'm going to do the same length going down, and then I'm going to put a foot here, and let's just attach it to the body. And I don't know if you can tell, but what we just did is we made somebody, let's give him a chair. I just made him where he's sitting down. So if I was to give him a green chair, he's sitting in a chair. But let's get rid of the chair for a second. And what we're going to do is, because you can see what we've got, we're going to take and we're going to make him running, which will be kind of cool. So if I took and I moved this back leg here, and again, we're going to pretend there's like a string right there. And that back leg is from here to here. If I was to hold this string right there and then pull this, it would arc up here. So I'm moving this leg back. And then this piece is the same length as the upper leg, is the same length as the lower leg. So now you've got one leg, I'm going to color it solid in the background, and it's going back. The other leg is in the foreground, where it's going forward. And then when you have the leg in the foreground going forward, that means that the arm is going to be going backwards. Like they're always the opposite. If this is forward, this is backwards. And that means that if this is in the back, that arm in the background has to be forward. So I don't know if you can see what's going on here, but let's erase a little bit. And we're going to do a little bit of an outline so you can see what's going on. And essentially, we just made this guy who is running. We also made him where he's sitting. So it's those kinds of tricks to knowing how to draw the figure. There's a whole bunch more, and remember, we did this all basically parallel to that person standing and then running. And then if you wanted to do a bunch of other things, it works the exact same way for when you're drawing a face.